My favorite title for myself, written and read by Brother Jerry Valenti. A man who was working for a company was promoted to a new job that included his own office, several staff members including a secretary, and a fancy new title, Junior Executive of Research and Knowledge. The promotion and everything that went with it went to his head a little bit, and he immediately started ordering people around and gave his secretary a list of things he wanted done for him. One of those tasks was to order him new business cards. When the business cards arrived, he looked at them and was not happy with them. He went to the secretary and said, "I wanted these cards to have my full title of Junior Executive of Research and Knowledge spelled out. I didn't want it abbreviated to JERK. The secretary replied, "I didn't know your title was Junior Executive of Research and Knowledge." As Jesus continues to be critical of the Pharisees, he points out how they like to have people recognize them in public and address them by whatever fancy titles they may have, such as Rabbi. Jesus then instructs the people to not seek to be called by these types of titles that are typically employed to make someone sound important, such as Rabbi, Father, or Master. Now, there are some religious faiths today that do use some of the titles that Jesus said not to use, and some people do criticize them for that. However, the real lesson that Jesus is teaching here is not so much to avoid these specific titles, but rather to avoid trying to make yourself sound important by using a title, any title, to describe yourself as a way of lifting yourself up above other people. That's why he concludes this instruction with the statement, "Whosoever shall exalt himself shall be abased, and he that shall humble himself shall be exalted." Matthew 23:12. In the church, we have various titles that are assigned to us. Some go with ordained offices, some with elected offices. Often it is necessary for people to know our titles in order to work with us in the proper way. However, at other times, we may find it tempting to slip a title into conversation just for the little rush that comes with sounding important. These are the prideful feelings that we need to minimize. Want to know what my favorite title is for myself? Remember how I said my name at the beginning of this blog. Even all these years later, I can remember how excited I was on the day of my baptism after the elder said amen when confirming me into the church that the title brother was now officially part of my name. It's a privilege to carry the title of brother or sister, and yet it's something that we all have in common. So we're not elevating ourselves when we refer to ourselves by that title. Jesus said as much as part of this teaching. Right in the middle of the list of important sounding titles to avoid, he added the phrase, "All ye are brethren." So while titles are necessary, we have them for a reason, let's not use them in a prideful way to set ourselves above others. Remember that for every person who thinks he's making himself sound important by mentioning his title, there's somebody else who's thinking, this guy's not as important as he thinks he is. At the very least, God is thinking that.